Hi there. This is going to be a review video of Disney's California Adventure theme park, which I was at just a couple of days ago. And so this is going to be my review video of that park. Now I want to say that I have been to Disneyland at least once a year over the last 6 years or so. However, did not go to California Adventure. I've been to California Adventure maybe like once 10 years ago, and was never really that impressed with it, so I never really did go back. But I did want to check out the newly revamped park, because they've recently revamped California Adventure. They've added a new land called Cars Land, and also a new ride called Radiator Springs Racer, I believe, and a few other things like that, a few other new rides and stuff. So I wanted to check it out. But 10 years ago, I was never really impressed with California Adventure. I never really got it, and I think Disney really made a misstep with it, because what they were trying to do is they're trying to make like a Disneyland but without the Disney. In other words, something that would appeal more to adults. Like they serve alcohol in the park, and they had roller coasters that went upside down. They still have that, by the way, which is a cool coaster. But it just never really took off. People didn't like it. People just much prefer Disneyland, and I think Disneyland really does appeal to kids and adults alike. So trying to take the Disney out of Disneyland by doing another park just didn't seem to work. And so Disney has sort of backpedaled now, and they've revamped California Adventure to make it more Disney-like, which seems a little bit ironic, because that's what they were trying to avoid in the first place. But now you go to California Adventure, and they've got like Mickey Mouse there parading through the newly revamped Main Street, every few minutes and stuff like that. They've got a whole bunch of stuff to remind you that yes, it's now still part of Disneyland, and all that kind of stuff. They've added a lot more kids stuff there now, such as a Little Mermaid ride. The Aladdin show is over there, which actually is a really good show. I highly recommend it if you ever go to California Adventure. I do recommend the Aladdin show. It's totally funny, especially the genie. So they have a lot of kids stuff. They got a Toy Story ride there now, and in addition to the Cars Land and all that. So anyway, it doesn't gel as well as Disneyland. I mean, if Disneyland is like a 9 or 10, I think Disney's California Adventure for me is like a 5 or 6, maybe even a 4 or 5. Wasn't really that impressed with it. And even the new Cars Land is pretty cool, but I think it can get dated really fast. And like the Radiator Springs Racer ride, which is being hyped up a lot, is a cool ride, and it's fun and all, but it's not really that special, and I can totally see it fading and not being that popular in the future. And I think it's popular now just because it's so new. It just came out a couple months ago. But as time goes on, I think that ride is going to fade and not be very popular anymore. And it's a little unfortunate. I think Disney has made some missteps in the last few years. One misstep also was in Disneyland, the Finding Nemo ride. It was much hyped before it was released. It replaced the old submarine ride. Then when it was released, people were like, I waited 3 hours in line for this? And now there's hardly any line for that ride at all, ever, just because it's kind of a dud of a ride. I mean, certainly it's worth going on once, and certainly if you have young children, they would really like it, but it's not the kind of ride that you would want to repeat and keep riding every time you visit the park. Unlike, rides such as the Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain, Matterhorn, and all that kind of stuff. So going back to California Adventure, that park has none of those types of rides that I think that has that real strong cohesiveness and real strong repeat rideability. There are literally no rides in Disney's California Adventure that I would want to go back to the park just to ride, like I do at Disneyland. So in general, I think now, even with Cars Land, and Cars Land is cool. I mean, they do replicate the feel of the city of the Cars movies quite well. And when you walk around Cars Land, they do replicate the look and the feel of it and the scale of it and all that quite well. So that was done pretty well. But it's not really that compelling to me in terms of like the Radiator Springs ride. It's just, I can see it becoming dated really fast. I mean, it's cool, but it's not that cool. It's not as fun. As you're riding on a car with wheels and all that, kind of like Indiana Jones, but it's not nearly as fun as Indiana Jones, and it's not the kind of ride that I would want to go on multiple times like I do with Indiana Jones and stuff like that. So yeah, I just even though Disney revamped California Adventure, I just don't see it as being that great. So they spent billions and billions of dollars on this, on remodeling California Adventure, and I think that it's still not a very good park. And if you have to choose between Disneyland and California Adventure, Disneyland is definitely much, much better. And as an adjunct to Disneyland, yes, I mean, if you're going there for a few days or whatever, yeah, you can spend a day in California Adventure and you will have fun. I mean, there are fun things to do there. I just don't think it's as good as Disneyland. So if I had to choose one or the other, of course it would be Disneyland. But on the positive side, some of the fun things at California Adventure for me were, as I mentioned, the Aladdin show, which is like a Broadway production show, was quite good. I thought that was quite entertaining, and that's at California Adventure. Also, the ride, I think it's a Toy Story. It's kind of like the Astro Blasters ride in Disneyland. They have a ride where it's a Toy Story ride, and it's kind of like a video game where you have to shoot, but it's in 3D. And they move you to different screens and stuff, and you kind of rack up points. I forgot the name of it, but it's a Toy Story blaster type ride. That ride was quite fun. And then the roller coaster is always fun at California Adventure. And, the Cars Radiator Springs Racing ride is certainly worth checking out, although it's not anything that I am real excited to go ride on again. So I think that's sort of a failure in my opinion. Other than that, there's not a whole heck of a lot at Disney's California Adventure to see. Yes, there are some other rides and stuff, here and there, but nothing really that spectacular that I can even remember off the top of my head that I would want to go see. So anyway, that's just been my opinion and my review of Disney's California Adventure. This is I went there very late December 2012. I'm recording this January 1st, 2013, just as a point of reference if you're watching this video later. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Disneyland or Disney's California Adventure does going forward. But I think Cars Land is going to sort of fade out in popularity. And, it's just popular now because it's new, but it doesn't seem to have that lasting power, that stayability, in my opinion. So I wasn't really that impressed with it. And next time I certainly will not pay the $87 or whatever it is to go into California Adventure. And certainly would much prefer going into Disneyland over California Adventure. So yeah, I don't think California Adventure is worth a repeat visit. Certainly if you haven't visited before and you're interested in checking it out, you will certainly have fun there on your day, there. So it might be worth it for that reason. But in terms of repeatability and wanting to go back, I personally don't see any need to go back to California Adventure in the same way that I would want to go back to Disneyland. So I welcome your comments and your opinions on this, and I'm sure others would be able to benefit from hearing those as well. So go ahead and leave one below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.